fortunately, the guys replaced a culvert that goes there, and we're getting excellent, run through that culvert now, because the old one was completely rotten and
Right.
nothing was coming out. And it was coming up in places where it shouldn't be, all that water that was coming across underneath the road. So now it's all running down the gravel rain garden area where it's supposed to. And so that gets filtered before it hits the lake. And we've got the, handicap parking signs are up in the parking area. We've got, it looks pretty cute, cedar posts with lines going through to show people where the walk-in, where you can carry in or just to walk down to the lake. The only problem we have now is that the lake is so high that about a third of the property is still underwater. So as soon as the lake goes down to where it belongs, you can use the whole area. So that area hasn't been mowed or anything because it's pretty, it's like up to your ankles walking on it. I cleaned up the shoreline last week, got the remnants of the silt fence out of there, all the hay bales out of there. So it looks pretty nice right now. And where the monument is, now that that's in place, then we can plan in the future as we go along, putting low shrubs around it to spiff it up, putting a flagpole, those kinds of things. But we've got the main foundation there, and I think it looks pretty good.
It does.
So
just listen, I think it's, I want to give kudos go. I think Debbie's done a wonderful job. I mean, she could have gave this to me as my first month in office. She didn't. She handled it, and I think we need to give Debbie a bit of applause for doing what she did at her part. Okay. Any questions for anybody in their whole business?
Is there gonna be a ceremony, Deb?
I have to get with, if there's a ceremony, I have to contact the Lake Champlain Basin Program, because if you remember, we had a grant from them, and I have to contact the New England WICC, who was the ones who actually provided the money to the Lake Champlain Basin Program. So give them the opportunity to be present at something. I was hoping to do it before the 4th, but I think now that as we go along, if we can wait for the grass to grow in the area that we washed out, get it when it's looking its nicest,
Yeah.
then we should do something.
Great.
If nothing else, to just recognize that that property had been donated 80 years ago as a Veterans Park, and it's finally noted as such.
Yeah, that's
Does
good.
anybody know exactly, well, not exactly, but about how much higher the lake is than it's supposed to be?
I don't know.
I mean, it's too bad our gatekeeper wasn't here tonight. He could tell you just how high the water is by what's going through the gate. The last time you checked it.
It's been a while, but I mean, he always follows suit, 2.5 inches, and then if the gates are closed, or there's nothing coming out of the gates, and he's holding his normal statue on his building.
Okay.
I know it's pretty high.
Might be 5 inches, maybe.
Yeah, it's a few inches too high because
If you-
on normal years, down by the Veterans Park, it's dry, you can walk on it. And right now it's really wet.
Yeah, we're gonna get with Denise, see what he thinks about crack open the gates.
Well, I mean, if it's a little bit lower, it'll help help the fields and stuff around too, because they can't drain and dry out.
Can't leach out.
There's, water seeks its own level. If the water level's up, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
So,
Okay, new business, Verizon wireless concerns. Listen, over the past few months, we're just getting more and more complaints about dropped calls, no service. I've been making a lot of phone calls to Verizon. I finally was able to get a person that had some sort of knowledge about what's going on. And he said, I can tell you your problem. He says, you probably didn't have any issues 5 years ago. I said, very minimal. He says, the trees are growing. The trees are growing, and your tower basically is too short for the area, and that's why you're getting the reception you're getting. So I do need the public to help me out. One of the things that he suggested to me is dial 611. When a person dials 611, a complaint gets logged automatically through Verizon. And the old adage is strength in numbers. So if we get more and more people to dial 611, it could help us, honestly. We just put the posting up on our webpage. So if you go to our webpage, it actually explains the 611 process. I've been in contact with another person that basically says, since we are a municipality, or that tower sits on a property of municipality, we may get a little higher level of, what's the word I want to use, importance to say, maybe we got to do something with that tower. If it was sitting not on a municipality, they would probably ignore us. But so I do have a number to call into that person. He thinks he can give me some direction on what we need to do. But the other help I would need for our residents, and just can't fall on the town board. We need this community to pull together for this area. Is that we really got to contact STEP. We got to contact Schumer, all the representatives to say we need some help with this area, because we need that type of service. I mean, one of the reasons why we had an issue with that fire on the other side of the lake is they couldn't get out with a 911 call on that camp. So we really need our community to pull together on this to try to get some pressure to either get that tower raised up. It's going to be an APA fight, I tell you right now. It's going to be an APA fight. They're going to say no way, but because the trees have grown and the signal has now gotten slighter, and that's the problem we're having. So
I can say that, to get a waiver for our cell towers in the Adirondacks, is one of the agenda items for the, Adirondack Association of Towns and Villages. They're taking that as a legislative item to, Albany, because it's not just us. It's, all this 40-foot restriction is, just not, if you live in a hilly area, it just doesn't work.
So the 611, if you call that, will you speak to someone, or is it?
you might, or you just send me a recording and you tell them, hey, I'm having an issue, I have no service, and then automatically it gets logged.
No, it's 3 or 4 years on the other side of this mountain.
Yeah, how do you know if you have no cell
We're
phone?
slowly losing it over there.
Yeah.
Certain days is good, certain days is not.
Yeah, and I've been to a lot of other states that have actually a lot more strict rules than APA, like the state of Oregon. And I'll tell you what, they have these cell towers that look like a Douglas fir tree, and if you're not looking at them just right, it's a cell tower, and you're getting service wherever you want. So I think the community needs to come together in this one, because we're gonna have more and more issues where there's an emergency and you can't get out with a call.
I think AT&T customers are also having a problem, because I had someone ask me the other day if the AT&T tower was down, and they said, not to my knowledge. Well, I'm not getting service very good, it's,
Yeah.
But they're both the same height.
And the other
If you look at both of them, they're
information
both
that I
the
got,
same
when
height.
actually when the tech was looking at this tower, Verizon, for some reason, has brought on a side contract to put T-Mobile on the AT&T tower. So now we're gonna have T-Mobile over here, but I don't know how that's gonna affect the town, but I don't know where it's at as far as completion. But Verizon now is gonna install T-Mobile, and right now T-Mobile is ahead of Verizon when it comes to 5G. So, yes.
I see they finally started putting the tower up over on the Smith Road too.
Yeah.
So, just more to come. So again, pass the word.
That was a couple of years ago.
If you can't get service, your neighbor can't get service in this area, 611, please. And look at our webpage, it explains the whole thing. Speaking of our webpage, under new business, we had our webpage recreated. So if you go to town.mr.gov, you'll see the new webpage. It looks nice. They did a lot of, our web designer did some AI stuff, and it looks a lot better than what it did before, for sure. Item B, Dean Lashley Surveyor Services. So let me tell you, this is all about the town. When I was over looking at Veterans Park, I had our town garage people say, "Hey Joey, you gotta bring this to your attention. Those 7-8 shrub right there that lady just planted, and I'm gonna tell you her name, is on our property." I said, "Really?" I said, "So let's look at Onyx." We looked at Onyx. We looked at the GIS map,
Yeah.
which pretty much coincide with one another. And those shrubs are definitely on town property. So I was nice about it, I went to the residents, I said, listen, just looking for the resident owner, and the daughter said she's working, I said, have her give me a call, so I talked to the resident owner, I said, listen, your shrubs are on our property, about 20 feet over on our property, I'm not gonna do a damn thing, just want you to know they're on our property. Well, she got quite nasty with me. And I said, listen, I don't want to pick a fight with you, I'm just telling you that's our property, and I'm gonna leave them the way they are. I'm not gonna have you take them out of the ground. She said, nope, that is our property, and I want you to prove that's our property. I said, you just push my button, you got it. So, we are gonna contract with Dean Lashley Surveyor Services, and he's gonna, go and, survey that area, and he already looked it up on the deed, and he says, nice, and he looked at his maps, he said, that's definitely your property. So we're gonna have an issue there, and I'm gonna call our attorney to see if I can't charge her back for the cost of that surveying service, so we're gonna look at that.
Where is this?
Pump house.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just side of pump out.
The road there
The other
that cuts
side.
into the island?
The island drive.
It shows up black at the side of it?
She owns, it looks like she owns the other side of
she owns
it,
about 10 feet.
but not that far, not 30 feet, yeah,
Yeah, you look this quote on it, you'll see it, it's that clear.
way off.
The other thing on what we're gonna do with Dean, as you know, 3-4 months ago, we had an issue with our town road called Gordon Road. We have a dispute on the Gordon Road, and so I've also asked Dean to pull up the deeds and right-of-ways and all, that is a town road. And he's gonna look at that area too, because he did say that, from what he can see, there is a structure in the middle of that town road.
That's what we've been saying.
No.
So he will go and pin it, and once we have the coordinates and it's pinned, then we'll send a registered letter out to the person that owns the structure. Okay.
That'd probably be another matter.
Yes. I'm not gonna go in a lot of detail in this next incident, so Village of Dannemora Land Mount EMS incident. Actually, I'm not gonna say the name of the individual, but I'm gonna give you an overview, because it is public knowledge. But we did have a employee that's now on leave, an EMT employee that had a concealed carry permit, legal permit, but he had the pistol in his bag, and I don't know if what happened, whether he was showing somebody something or what, but he went to put it in his pocket, and the pistol went off, and he shot himself in the leg. And unfortunately, there were people in the building, where the library's right next door, there was people in that building, and they heard the shot, and of course, that is when you hear a shot, everybody gets into a panic mode, and so the state police were called right away. This happened a week and a half ago.
Almost a week ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks
2 weeks
ago?
ago.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
So, state police got initially involved, they did all the investigation, and now it's handed over to the sheriff. Detectives, they're gonna do all their investigation. It really resolves to the young lady that spoke here today, Danita McIntosh. It happened in the village. But the reason why we are concerned about it is the town of Dannemora actually pays 3/4 of the EMS contract with the village. We partner with the EMS village on the EMS contract, so we have a say in this thing. So just want to give you that, more to come on that, and we find out what's going on. Do you want to add any more on that?
Well, bottom line, at the end of the day, that should have never been on an individual in that building, period. Matter if
That all goes
it's,
back to where the county should take that over, and everybody should follow the same playing field. They'll get the same pay, they all get the same rules.
Exactly. Okay, item D, Village Dannemora Village Fest donation. Why it's on the new business is we had a lady from the village who was a coordinator of the Village Fest, asked us to put some information on our beach sign, and we did. But she also asked for a donation. Debbie, you have to refresh your mind. I don't remember if we ever did a donation to the village.
In the past,
In the past?
we've been a sponsor, like there's been different levels of sponsor. We've been like, I think, one of the lower levels of sponsorship. I don't know if it was like $500 or something like that.
I'm pretty sure it's
donated.
$500. I think you did $500 last year.
I think we had 500, so if I could get a motion to get a donation to the Dannemora Village Fest, I'd appreciate that, for the amount of $500.
I'll make that motion to donate the Village Fest for the Village of Dannemora $500.
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, Jim,
Yes.
Jason,
Yeah.
Deb,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Joey,
Yes.
Do we know when the Village Fest is?
the 17th.
17th July.
That's the garage sale 2 weekend, and fireworks are at 9.
Okay, item E, Sage Lake Beach. If you've not been over to the beach, see our beach. It looks wonderful. Right now, we're working on a 4th lifeguard. Right now, we do have 3 signed up for the summer. I went over there last Thursday and Friday, actually, and kind of walked around. Saw some Pennsylvania license plates at the beach, and I stopped and asked a lot of the participants that are at the beach how they like the beach. They said it's one of the best beaches they have in the area. And you can do better. Know you're doing a wonderful job. Just thank you for what you're doing. We do want the volleyball net fixed, so Brooke ordered a new volleyball net, but we may move the volleyball court away because it is sopping wet where that volleyball net is. It's basically you're walking in water, so we're gonna probably look at a new place to play volleyball. But the other thing I want to mention is that we've having to pick up a lot of garbage off the ground. And Jason and I really thought it was raccoons, or we thought it was people just being not very good with our garbage. But the video shows that now that we've got one receptacle with a lid on it, the crows have moved over to the pavilion, and since it's got an open throat on it, they actually go in and they pull out diapers and they scatter them, and it's amazing what the crows do. Before you seagulls, now we have crows. If you notice the lake, there's no more seagulls on our lake, very little. 1 or 2 if you're lucky to see one.
Where did they go? Shut again?
But anyway, the crows are becoming to be a nuisance there, so we may have to change the receptacles now at the pavilion because they figured out how to get into the receptacles and pull food waste out of the.
They're smart little boogers, eh?
So I just want to give you that update. But I have to say to the people that are using the pavilion, they're doing a wonderful job picking up after themselves. We go over there and the garbage put in the right place. We have noticed some confetti on the ground, which is, I get that, it's hard to pick up, but overall, the people that are running the pavilion are doing a good job of maintaining and keeping it clean. So, but right now, kudos, and we want to give kudos to our town people, our town garage people. They have been doing a wonderful job just being over there, keep it mowed extremely well. We got 4 loads of sand that went into the beach, and we got brand new mulch over there. The playground is a hot spot really for a lot of people that visit the beach. So we have a good beach, really we do. Item F, New York State Water Infrastructure Grant Zoom meeting. I was on a Zoom meeting last Friday, and I invited Liz Tedford, who's our grant writer. The state has a brand new grant that has just been released in the new budget that our Governor Hochul put out for $525 million relating to anything to do with water, sewage, above underground infrastructure. So Liz believes that we may have, Jim, a good process to get that generally or Manor District 2 fixed. So I'm going to talk with Liz and see what we got to do to put in for that. But that we really need to get that thing looked at. It's been a headache for a lot of years.
Let's come back yet.
Yeah. So we're looking at that grant. That there's other things that we think we need for the town of Dannemora. We just got to let Liz know so she can apply the right documentation to the grant. But that's a priority one. We think is on District 2 to get that area fixed. So more to come on that. On one other item, add to new business. On a sad note, we've been really fighting hard to get the dock, the state dock boat launch deck extended by 10 feet. Well, we found out today that there's not enough money in the budget to extend
Again.
that dock by 10 feet. So I got that letter today.
I thought they were.
Yeah, I thought they were too.
Well, when money gets pulled back from things that have already been approved, that's what happens.
But actually, on a good note, I will say that this town has taken over now the complete ownership of of the boat launch system. It was down for 2 or 3 weeks early on in the season. One, it didn't get properly drained, one didn't get properly maintained, and the town has actually, I'm gonna tell you right now, the town has put in $800 to get that boat wash system fixed. But since we now got the money in it, we're gonna maintain it so it gets treated the right way. The existing lines that were underneath the ground, they had 1.5 pipe, inch pipe, fittings here, fittings there, whatever they use, and I gotta give credit. They tried to do the best job they can to have that, some sort of drainage. But now we have a brand new line that goes from the building all the way to the lake in one complete line. So we get to, and it's above ground, by the way, too, so we'll be able to maintain it in a much better way. But I don't wanna put any fault where fault is not deserved. I know they did the best they could with what they had, but, it didn't work and we couldn't use it for almost 3 weekends. So that is now an issue that's behind us. Anything else under new business?
I have a question. I know I've been out of touch for a long time, but I'm wondering, because I'm listening to Mary and I'm listening here, are we just giving up on drawdowns and planning to go with the how's it pronounced?
Procellacor?
Or where is in your comprehensive plan, I guess that would be my question, where does it go from here?
So so if you look at, it's a good question that you have, but if you relate to the comprehensive plan, there is part of it that's the lake management. I gotta understand that the town of Dunmore doesn't own the lake. DEC owns the lake. So we gotta be very, very careful when we decide to put in a comprehensive plan to manage that lake. I mean, for us, comprehensive plan, we can look at salt that goes on our highways, that leaches into our lake, right? We can do that. But to say that, that we're gonna put the comprehensive plan in and it's gonna be Procellacor and no more drawdowns, it's just one of those things that we just have to look at. We have a lot of data. We have pros and cons of a drawdown's good and a drawdown's not good. One of our lake residents just actually called me this week, just to let you know, and said that for the first time since we stopped the drawdowns, he's actually seen otters now in the lake. We haven't seen otters in the lake for many, many years. So when there's otters in the lake, that means that the bottom of the lake is creating food for the otters to eat, which you typically wouldn't have for a drawdown. So to go a little deeper detail, I'm going to tell you that I don't think the drawdown is the answer for future use. I think it's a Band-Aid approach. It doesn't give us longevity on maintaining milfoil. It only helps milfoil in certain water levels. But is Procellacor the answer? I think it is, but you just heard from Mary, it's extremely expensive. They have a lot of wonderful donations on Chateauguay Lake. What'd she say, 600 parcels? 600 residents?
So not 600 people contribute.
600?
There are 600
half.
parcels, so it's a
Parcels,
bigger, we've got more of an owner base than Shazy. But, you gotta, and only about 20% will donate in any given year. So you have to, it's a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. So the answer,
Otherwise, you gotta look at a weed district. That's a whole other thing.
yeah. So to further answer your question, and the board can comment on this too as anyone else can, but for me, I think Procellacor is the answer. Short term, are we gonna do it tomorrow? No, we got to figure out some sort of how we raise money to start treating. We don't have the acreage that Chateauguay Lake has. We are very, very small pockets of milfoil, and I think we need to understand just where we need to spend the money on understanding where the milfoil is located at. So we can stop guessing that it's 1 acre here or it's 2 acres here. We got to know exactly the density and the size of what Shays Lake has for milfoil
Right, but
growth.
they have buoys where they are.
I know that, but we're guessing on size. What Mary has done is actual acreage that we need to find out.
That was the purpose of doing a comprehensive survey. And it was, that's a place to start, to get an update. I don't know what kind of surveys that they've done on Shays.
Well, we used to do that dairy and after the drawdowns, we always did.
But that's not a survey.
But no, but I thought
Size of
somebody did one recently.
But the thing is, we don't have an accuracy. We don't have accuracy like this. And I think for us to understand the true root cause of Shazy Lake, we need accuracy data to understand what we need to do and what kind of revenue or next step we need to take to get this lake free of milfoil and how do we maintain it. So, like I said, I think a drawdown and the board can go on their own opinion.
And they kinda got an idea of how much.
It's short term,
You know what I mean? Well, kind of a ballpark.
yeah.
One of the things about, like, there's a lot of new people and a lot of new property owners and stuff. We're working on your shoreline. Is there any thought about lowering the lake so people could work on their shoreline?
So yes, there is thought on doing that, and you know what, I think we need to look at that. The recommendations that was given us by DEC was sometime April, May.
Very early in the year,
Yeah.
so that the lake could recover. So
Right.
instead, not to do it in September, but do it like
Right
as soon as the
after.
ice is off the lake.
Yeah.
And doesn't that go against what they wanted us to do it in the fall, so it wouldn't affect the or the animals or the fish or whatever? Wasn't that why we had to do it in the fall?
Well, this would be like before the spawning or whatever, there's a section beforehand,
Oh,
and then there's
okay.
time afterwards.
But there's thoughts about that for.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, there is thought about lowering the lake.
Because I know a lot of the people that want the lake lowered could give a rat's about the milfoil, they just wanna work on the shoreline.
Right, and I mean, and I can understand that, I mean, if they,
Yeah, I
like, we
mean-
have to do ours, yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, it just seems I've heard people saying, well, I'd like to do it, but I can't, how do I do it if the lake is this high?
get wet.
Yeah,
Get very
so,
wet.
so the board feels that the lake can be lowered to help shore owners fix their property. They think that's a good thing to do,
I think,
honestly.
so if we do lower, don't the owners still have to get a permit to,
Yeah, they still have to
Yeah,
get,
That
if
was,
they
that was
bring
DEC's
machinery in.
next move. If we chose to lower the lake, they didn't recommend probably more than a foot. But they also recommended if you're gonna touch your shoreline,
Yeah, the permit.
you need to have a permit. 'cause
Oh, yeah,
they're gonna be
yeah,
your-
yeah, that's, I mean, you have to, we
Yeah.
don't get it,
So what exactly, like, does that mean like moving rocks isn't
Yeah,
okay?
you can do anything by hand.
By hand, you can do whatever.
if you had like a machine come in and back or an excavator to move, to help move the stuff, you'd have to get a permit through DEC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
So you'd have to kind of plan, basically what we're saying is you kind of have to plan it out. If we were to do something like that, you'd have to be prepared to have, because I'm sure it'd take a while to
And you
get
need
a
to know
permit.
enough ahead of time,
Yes,
so you
exactly.
can get up there and get the permit
Yep.
and all
You know,
that.
and I know there's been a lot of conversation regarding that the lowering of the lake during the winter months is a tool. But, if you just look at we had some extremely cold temperatures this year on the lake. I mean, ice depths were as much as 28 inches deep on this lake this year. And that ice depth actually inhibited growth from the milfoil. Last year we had a mile a year. Our lake got only high as like 18 inches of ice. And the milfoil kind of resurfaced at a quicker rate. But it's just one of those things that if you look at what we got to do, the overall protection of the lake. One, I think we really got to start looking at the salt that goes on 374, because it is leaching into our lake, and now we have chloride levels we never had before. So we got to get our fight behind some other things that protect our lake, and chloride is one of them. And then the other thing is we got a breakwater that we just lost that we got a grant canceled on us that we got to do some cementing on our breakwater walls because rebar is showing, and there's a lot of things going on in the lake. I grant, I don't want milfoil in our lake either. We have it, we got to deal with it, but I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think lowering the lake that 2-foot mark only takes care of levels this high. Doesn't take
Right,
care
but
of
it
the other
does help
bits.
you when you're putting your boat out or something, because it's,
Yeah.
it's not by your dock or whatever
Right.
it is.
That's
I
coming
mean, I
back.
think the bigger thing was last week, or last month, the guy from Paul Smith's College said it's actually more harmful to native species than it is to milfoil, because the milfoil comes back more quickly, and he's, and I think that's pretty damning.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm worried about, Chattagay Lake has a lot more parcels than we do. I think, the cost is scaring me.
Oh, listen, it scares us too. But to Mary's point, this state's gotta stop talking on both sides of their mouths. Really, they gotta stop talking both sides of their mouth. They want the state to be the most pristine park in the entire country, but they don't want to do anything to help us with that, so.
And we've got
And
some
also-
state land on Shazy Lake,
Go back,
Yeah,
so.
And the Adirondacks needs to be in together because the Finger Lakes, the Catskills, the Mohawk Valley, they have organized so that they get special funding allocations. And Adirondacks should do this.
I
Well,
believe you can.
That's, that's one of the big issues. I've been to Albany a couple times to discuss this with legislators, and they say, oh, we give a lot of money to the Adirondacks. No, you give them your money to Lake George and Lake Placid, and you don't give it to anybody else. If we had some sort of Olympic thing here, then we'd get money poured on us.
I do flips well.
And that's the problem, and that's been pointed out and brought to light, more and more. This past year, it's been, kind of, especially with the lack of funding that's coming federally, they need to start looking at the small areas that need it more than Lake Placid, who makes them plenty of money on their own. Lake George makes plenty of money on their own. We don't.
Exactly.
So,
And like he's saying, people are coming to the beach and they're enjoying it, but if something happens that we get filled with milfoil,
Exactly.
nobody's gonna be coming anywhere. So I mean, I agree something has to be done, I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
I just, the price, just like I said, scares me.
Here's this
One thing that I'll say, with no drawdowns, and I pay pretty close attention, I'm on that lake a lot in the winter, ice damage, since we control the pressure under the water by having the gate open constantly all winter, has lessened. I would even dare say the last 5 years has been near zero ice damage. We have not had one ice complaint
No
here.
complaint.
No?
And I watch these shorelines like a hawk. And that
No,
ice,
it affected, we put the new one in and.
that ice staying lower in the water is a definite bonus.
Yeah.
It's a definite.
Yeah, we've seen good results from it.
and not lowering it once the ice is formed,
Yeah, well, that was a different.
because that was a problem in the
But
past.
sometimes, like in previous thing too, before was April 1st, you automatically shut the gate. Well, there's probably still ice on there. So now the ice becomes buoyant. And when you get, and tell me, a lot of people live on the lake, there was major wind here this year. And that ice did not shift around. That ice did not shift.
Yeah.
Because it's in the water. It's down.
Okay, anything else under new business anybody like to bring
I
up?
just I walked the, mountain road from, Shazy Lake Road to the trail, to the
Lumber.
parking lot.
Okay, I can give you
And I noticed that there was a lot of work done there by the guys to probably prevent like crazy runoff.
yeah, so actually the guys, so to your point, you need,
They built a brook, yeah.
so to your point, the guys noticed that there was, the rain was coming, it was pouring. They went in, quick work to try to minimize the damage. That's a town road, I didn't know it was.
Well, I figured the water must have been going right across Shazy Lake Road, and that's what prompted all
Yeah.
that activity.
So we're trying to, so now if those you have not climbed Lowenberg yet this year, or Lion Mountain, there's a kiosk there now that's put up there by DEC.
Yep.
Well, we're trying to get some connections through Soil and Water to help us pay for the fill that we gotta put in there for all those huge ruts. And I talked to John today, he's our point person for the crew, and he said you're looking at probably 6 or 7 loads of item 2 or item 4 to fix those roads. It's bad, he said.
So, yeah, I spoke with John, and he said one of the days, 47 people climbed the mountain.
One day.
This year so far.
Good for
So, but, I could tell that, work had been done, I'm like, oh, the guys had been, they paid attention, they were noticing, and, they're making an effort to
Yeah, we have
have some sort of road there,
a great crew.
yeah.
Wonderful.
It's really
That's a
showing.
up there.
There's a slab before about the parking lot on that road, there's somebody poured a slab over there. Private on the spot, it's all cut off.
Really?
Yeah, way up to the top of the right.
I didn't hear a thing you said, Jim.
There's somebody owns a parcel up in there and they poured a slab in there.
Oh, yeah, they have a house there now.
Is there a
Oh,
house
yeah, you
there?
can see it from my house.
Okay.
I wanna go snooping, but it's private property.
You could get lost.
Oh, look, I'm lost in my new house.
So, if you got a resident up there, then that's much
Yeah,
more.
yeah, there you go.
Right.
I wanna see your place, here's the guy.
So anything else under new business for anybody? Okay, we'll move into, correct? That'll be interesting. Okay, we'll move into committee reports. I think you heard enough from me tonight. I give all the updates I could. So we'll go to Jim. What do you got?
Jim,
Lisa?
I'm good.
Mike?
I'm good.
Debbie?
Living the dream.
And Mark, just let you know, I've been away for an entire month. He's had some family business that they take care of in the state of Washington. And I just can't tell you how these three highway guys have taken complete ownership of the entire town by Mark's been away. And they bring in a new employee at the same time. Just a wonderful thing. Any follow-up questions for me or the board? Yeah, Mary?
So, I'm wondering about this kerosene spill. So it was around the Lion Mountain Water Treatment Plant?
Yeah.
Wastewater.
Right on.
Wastewater. On
Waste-
Sunset Inn Road.
On the Sunset Inn Road?
Yeah, right
Now
next.
from the museum, just down the hill from the museum on the way.
That's where it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the lake.
Okay, I thought it was on the other side, like,
No.
No.
As soon as you break down the hill, 100 feet, the driveway is right to the right.
so did it go into the water?
No.
it was all.
It was all ice, it was winter time,
Frozen.
so y'all at DEC, how hard they could be. DEC came and looked at this on a Friday afternoon, threw a few mats down, and said, we'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
That's what they did. And it was almost 600 gallons of fuel.
Well, because Separator Brook is right there, right?
Quite a way, like 800 feet.
It's a little bit, but it's not out of reach.
The plume didn't reach beyond right near the building. Near
Plus they
the,
excavated.
wastewater
Oh, okay.
treatment building.
28 truckloads I think they removed.
But,
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
but Orsan drains really well.
What?
I said Orsan drains really well.
Yeah.
It's really
The,
well.
the fluid went down 14 feet, Mary. 14 feet the ground went down.
Wow.
Yeah.
And probably the size, well, if you take this hole right here, that's probably the size of the hole they dug down to get it out.
So they excavated all the contaminated ores?
Yeah.
You excavate it and then they send it away to have it cleaned,
Goes-
incinerated.
Yep, it goes to Glens Falls to be cleaned and incinerated.
They kept sampling until they hit.
It's quite the process to
Went
watch.
through that a lot.
Okay, since there's no follow-up questions, I do have to go into executive
I'll
session.
make a motion to go into executive session.
All right? So wait, before you all go, next meeting is August 5th. And here is these,
Oh, the survey.